largest pool in the world.
Yeah. we're
Definitely in the region. That's
Definitely
what I
in the
understand.
region, yes.
Definitely in the region.
I'm truly impressed at the advanced stage of this development.
There are more opportunities to come besides what you're seeing happening on site here, because we're going to need retail partners, food and beverage partners, and we have a few more spots, or 30 more spots that are left that we plan to staff.
We would have initiated an initiative called Welcoming Home to encourage Grand Bahamians to return home because of the development of Celebration Key. And so many of them I see here today, so that's a great feeling.
When we talk about Grand Bahama Island, we're no longer just talking about Freeport. We're talking about the East End, where this project is generally located, but also we celebrate the authenticity of the western end of Grand Bahama. But this is a great boost to the overall product, and this project would be a big boost to the island of Grand Bahama, and I'm excited about it.
We have at least 32 subcontractors, of which at least 29 of them are Bahamians, building these buildings and working. People say nothing is happening in Grand Bahama, but they just need to come and see that it's not just happening in Grand, it's happening for Grand Bahamians.
I'm pleased to report of the 15 ambulances that were earmarked for the Bahamas, 10 are presently in the country. And we are now meeting very aggressively to determine how they would be deployed to the various family islands and to support the EMT service here in New Providence.
What we inherited was unacceptable to care for our people. Far too many Bahamians were suffering because the system simply couldn't keep up. It was obvious to me that things couldn't continue this way. We are investing more than $500 million into the sector, not because it looks good on paper, but because it's what the Bahamian people deserve. 2 new hospitals are being built, and clinics throughout the islands are being upgraded, from the family islands to the capital. This is about making sure that when you or your loved ones need care, it's there, without question, without delay.
The Office of the Prime Minister Press Office is the primary liaison between the Fourth Estate and the Office of the Prime Minister and Cabinet.
Every day, we are working to build a more inclusive economy and a stronger, safer country.
Hear all of the latest developments as the Davis administration carries out the broad mandate of progress and change. Our live weekly press briefings provide full access to current newsmakers on the most topical issues of the day. We facilitate prompt responses from cabinet ministers on the latest reports and get answers on the issues that matter to you.
Will any penalties be levied against this?
OPM Press Now, keeping you in the know. Good morning, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us for our weekly press briefing. It's good to see all of you, as always, after a brief hiatus during the summer months. This morning, we're very pleased to have with us the Director of Investments, Ms. Felicia Woods, and she is, of course, going to appraise us and update us on the series of investments that you've seen in the news during the course of the week, whether it's infrastructural improvements on the family islands to new heads of agreements that were signed this week and more to come in the hotel industry, many of them on the family islands. So without further ado, I'd like to welcome Ms. Woods, who is joining us, even though she is pressed for time. We want to thank her for coming. She will present and, of course, be able to answer your questions on the upcoming investments and the ones that are already on the table. Ms. Woods.
Thank you, Keishla. Before I start my commentary, let me just say to you that what I'm going to report today is a product of a hard-working team that I've been privileged to lead over the course of the last 3 years. And the focus of the Bahamas Investment Authority has been on accountability, profitable returns, and efficiency in the ease of doing business. When we speak about accountability, we are looking to make our investment partners, both foreign and domestic, accountable to all parts of our mutual agreements. If, for example, there's an agreement for the transfer of knowledge, then we are obligated at the Bahamas Investment Authority to ensure that this happens. And over the course of our work, we work very closely with all of the requisite government agencies, the Ministry of Education, the Department of Labor, the Department of Immigration, to ensure that this takes place. When you speak about profitable returns, we at the Bahamas Investment Authority have determined that that's not just in the amount of jobs that we have created over the course of the last 3 years, which is the reporting time that I'm going to report on, but also the opportunities that we have provided to Bahamians and the ability to participate in foreign direct investment in our country at the domestic level. So our view is that the Bahamas Investment Authority, as we process applications, we must do so in a more rigorous manner, assessing the perspective of each project and making sure that what we assign and agree to comes to fruition in the best interest of the Bahamian people. So to date, I'm pleased to report that the Bahamas Investment Authority, since September of 2021, has processed $3.13 billion worth of certificate of registrations and $4.08 billion worth of value for permit applications in our country. What those applications are, real estate. Any foreign person that comes to our shores, they have to come to the Bahamas Investment Authority in order to provide, in first instance, a certificate of registration, and in the second instance, a permit, an International Persons Landholding Act permit. I'm pleased to report over the course of the 3 years, for the family of islands, the Bahamas Investment Authority has processed a $9 billion worth of investments, capital investments in our country. And from those $9 billion worth of projects, we have projected that in excess of 15,000 jobs will be created for Bahamians. And when I talk about jobs, I'm not just talking about construction jobs, but permanent jobs that allow for the growth and development of the Bahamian people. Also, out of those, the $9 billion worth of capital investment that has been processed to date by the Bahamas Investment Authority will come a number of entrepreneurial opportunities. Over the last 2 to 3 weeks, you would have witnessed a number of heads of agreement signings by the government of the Bahamas with individual developers. At the forefront of each of those developments is the opportunities for Bahamians and those items coming into realization. So with that being said, I'll open the floor for any questions. Before I do so, I will also indicate that looking into the future, the Bahamas Investment Authority will continue to facilitate foreign direct investments for the country in the best interest of the people. And we will also be focusing on the monitoring and evaluation of the $9 billion worth of investments that I would have spoken about. What does that mean? We are assigning project managers to continue to track projects, assist developers with navigating through the government system, where there are opportunities for Bahamians, marrying those opportunities of domestic investors with foreign investors. We are also working very diligently to identify, the market needs for developers and matching that with the supply and the local capacity that currently exists. So with that being said, I'll open the floor for any questions.
How can young Bahamians become more involved in investors like these or seek information on this? They often say that they don't feel the trickle-down effect or they have no clue how to learn more information about these investors.
Well, the first thing I would say is come see me. And then we'll go through the Hotels Encouragement Act. That would probably be my first starting point with young individuals. There have been some young people that have come to see me and understand, to get a fair understanding of, like I said, what the market needs are in our country, and then creating entrepreneurial opportunities through that is probably the best way for young Bahamians to participate. My door is always open, and I'm always excited to see youthful faces. As you could see, I am a youthful face, so I am excited about any person that just wants an understanding of what is out there for them and how we could best facilitate it. You may be aware that the Ministry of Economic Affairs is tasked with industry development, so it would be a partnership and working with that entity to see how best we can facilitate entrepreneurial opportunities.
You mentioned that it's 15,000 jobs, I think, from the Family Island projects.
No, that's the family of islands. So I call the Bahamas the archipelago. Yes.
So you said that it isn't just construction jobs. So can
Yes.
you just mention what those other jobs would be?
Well, there are a number of different job opportunities that will be available in the operational phase of different developments. Of course, tourism continues to be the main industry that we see inflow of foreign direct investments. So most of those jobs would be in the tourism-related sectors at various levels. We try to manage the operational jobs and maximize on the opportunities that are available for Bahamians through what we call a labor and immigration protocol. What that does is the Bahamas Investment Authority would work with developers to understand in their minds what are the market needs and what they think are not jobs or not that do not have the local capacity, and we work with the Ministry of Labor to fine-tune that listing to make sure that Bahamians have more operational jobs. So that's permanent jobs for Bahamians.
Do we see investments happening outside of the tourism sector elsewhere?
Yeah. In that $9 billion figure that I would have quoted to you, there are a number of jobs in the manufacturing industrial sector. You would have seen about 2 weeks ago, we would have signed a heads of agreement with the Grand Bahama Shipyard. That's probably one of the biggest investments for Grand Bahama to date. We hope that we'll have more in the coming weeks for you. But they're in various sectors. We hope to see more in, of course, manufacturing, industrial, aviation sector, maritime industry. Our promotional strategy is to look at those areas where there are potential by island and fine-tune and be aggressive in our promotional strategy to seek those investments from various jurisdictions throughout the world.
You know, there have been lots of talks about investment in Grand Bahama, but people feel as though they still have yet to see the fruits of that, right? From where you sit, do you feel as though these investments that are particularly being made in Grand Bahama, that will, I guess, stimulate economic growth at some point?
Oh, most definitely. And it's important as a government to make sure that government agencies work together. A part of investments is also infrastructural development, right? Making sure that the infrastructure is in place to promote an island. And so we've been working very closely with the Department of Aviation to get an understanding of timelines as it relates to the Grand Bahama International Airport, because that helps us with our promotional strategy as well, and even just reporting mechanism in our monitoring and evaluation phase for those projects that are approved currently. So we do work hand in hand to make sure that we promote the islands such as Grand Bahama, which has a great potential. What you would also see is with our family of islands, there are different cultures that exist. And so working within those cultural items, and when I say culture, I mean you may find on the island of Grand Bahama, manufacturing may work better, but in Andros, agriculture may be a targeted area that is more of a great potential. So we work with the various government agencies to help with promotion of the islands.
Could you touch briefly on, or even reiterate the importance of the orange economy showcasing their talents and getting together with you guys on this?
Oh, definitely. I mean, especially with Grand Bahama, the orange economy is huge, right? And so that is one that's near and dear to me for personal reasons. And so promoting that is never an option. It's a must. Okay, thank you.
Thank you very much, Felicia. Always great information there. And come back soon. Thank you. All right, are there any questions for me? We have a brief briefing today. Other questions?
Oh, yes. Just to get an update on the government's negotiations with the petroleum retailers. I know that they would have said that they want to do a protest soon and they got approval for that.
Yes, we understand that there are some grievances. This is an ongoing matter. Obviously, the gas retailers are seeking increases. I can tell you that talks have continued with the office, in particular the Ministry of Finance, to come up with a formula. Obviously, the government is concerned about the health of those businesses, but it's equally concerned about placing any undue burden on consumers. So the focus continues to be on coming to a consensus, creating a formula that will be mutually beneficial and not overburden either party.
Any concerns of that? These conversations seem to be at a standstill because the reality is that is what we've been hearing since 2 years ago, in 2022, when this issue, I think, initially was birthed. And so 2 years later, they still seem to be at a standstill. Are we really going to see any headway for gas station operators?
It has been tough, Jose. I would be the first to admit that. But the discussions are continuing. I think what has led to it being so hard to move on this is the focus on making sure that both the retailers and consumers are satisfied.
Do you think that before the new year there can be some sort of resolution?
I wouldn't want to put a time on it, but it is something that we do want to come to a resolution on for obvious reasons.
What is the government's response to the rate hike by the Grand Bahama Power Company? It's something they say they're ardently against, and also where are you in the arbitration process against CPP?
Well, the government has spoken on who has oversight for the rate increase, and I don't want to say much more than that on that. The Prime Minister himself has spoken to that, and we will give you an update on that as it progresses. But the position is the same on who has oversight for the rate increases for the power company there.
Just to be clear, has he been aware of the GBPC's intent to increase the fuel surcharge in Grand Bahama?
That's all a part of what's being dealt with. But again, the overriding issue is oversight, and the Prime Minister himself has spoken to that. All right. Thank you very much, everyone. Have a great day.